What is up, folks? I am off work today, which is why I'm at home, my abode, with all my stuff. The noise you might hear is my dishwasher, because I just bought new plates, so I'm about to cook some food. I cook almost every day that I'm home, or I try to. I'm gonna make shrimp and grits tonight. Anybody like shrimp and grits? Shrimp and grits is great. So, water. I just got done with all my errands. I was thinking about a video to post. And I've been seeing online, and it's nothing new. I see it all the time. And I'm gonna piss off a lot of you older truckers today. And I don't really care, because sometimes people say dumb stuff online. And this is pretty much, a few things that I'm gonna say old school truckers swear up and down is the Bible. And if you aren't exactly like them, then you're not a real truck driver. Look, I drove for the Army for 12 years. So now all of that time wasn't spent driving, but I was a truck driver in the Army. So 12 years then, and I've had my CDL for 6 years. So I've got a lot of experience driving trucks and running radios, reading maps. I grew up in Boy Scouts. I'm an Eagle Scout. So we're gonna get into all of this stuff about how truckers, or especially older truckers, they just talk crap about all the new drivers. And some of it might be true, but most of it that I hear is just complete bullshit. So number one, I got a list on my computer monitor here. So the first one that really just gets under my skin a lot is that they say you don't need GPS. Look, maybe it's true, you don't need GPS, but it's one of the most powerful tools that you have when your job is 50% navigation. Why would you not use GPS? It's a thing that's there. And you got all these older truckers that are like, well, if you use GPS, you end up in the ocean. Now, well, yeah, you'll end up in the ocean if you're a freaking moron. Don't drive into the ocean if the GPS says drive into the ocean. It's that simple. Look, I use Google Maps now because I'm out west, and actually I stopped using trucker GPS when I left over the road. When I went to regional and I was going to the same places all the time, I started using Google Maps just to get me there and back because I knew where I could go. But if you're just starting out, use GPS. Use your GPS. I don't care if you're just starting out. If you've been a few years in and you're over the road and you're going places you've never been all the time, use GPS. I have an app on my phone. I still have it. It's a monthly subscription, so I don't have it activated right now. But it's called Trucker Copilot GPS. And it is the best trucker GPS that you can get. You can buy a Rand McNally at the truck stop for like $400 if you want. Or you can just get the app on your phone, and it's like $10 a month. And it's going to be a lot better than that Rand McNally. I'm telling you. It works off of, I think, Google Maps. It's not going to have all the business names and everything, but you can punch in all of your address and everything. And when I was using it, it got me there every single time. And it knows where all the low bridges are. It knows where restricted roads are. It's built for truckers, and it's very customizable to your truck and your trailer length, your width, your weight, everything. You can put it all on that GPS and use it, and it'll get you there. If it's trying to take you down a stupid road, just keep going. Just keep going. It'll reroute. You'll go to a different road. Use GPS. Don't listen to old truckers. Don't listen. Yes, you should still carry a map because GPS might go down. You should still have a road atlas, but use the GPS. Number two, a lot of them say you don't need a fridge and a microwave and a TV, entertainment, convenience on the road. Look, Farmer John, look, just because you grew up in the 80s and you were driving in the 70s with your little tiny, your cot in the back of the truck, doesn't mean that all the new truckers have to deal with life like you did 50 years ago. Yeah, I want convenience on the road. I don't want to be out on the road and have to eat fast food all the freaking time. I want cold drinks. That's why I have either a cooler or a fridge in the truck and a microwave in the truck, which is going to save you tons of money. You don't have to buy food all the time if you just make some food in the truck. You want to eat lunch? Make a sandwich. You can warm it up in the microwave. I've cooked in the truck. It's not convenient, but I have cooked in the truck plenty of times. And honestly, it saves me so much money when I'm out for a few days. Now that I'm more like regional, local, I will meal prep at home and I'll just take the food with me in my cooler. So I have a 12-volt cooler, so it actually is a fridge. But yeah, microwaving the truck also is really helpful, and a TV in the truck. You gotta take your 10-hour breaks in the middle of freaking nowhere. If you got a TV and a PlayStation or Xbox or something like that, it's gonna hold you over. You wanna watch TV on your phone or your tablet, you know, cool. That's what I would do sometimes too. But a TV, it's much more convenient, and there's nothing wrong with having a TV in there. Don't let people tell you what to do with your truck. And if you're not a real trucker, if you do all, like, shut up. Shut up. It's always the old school guys. It's either that or it's these young guys that think they have something to prove and they're trying to be tougher than everybody else. Shut up. They also say that you need to have a CB radio. No, you don't. I have a CB in my truck right now because the company included it. I do use it because of the places that I go to, but I don't use it on the road. I don't turn it on while I'm riding down the road because the chatter is just, oh my God, I would rather have no hearing. I would rather be deaf than listen to the CB radio all day long. Truckers on the CB are just, 90% of them are just freaking morons. They're stupid. They say the stupidest things. They're hateful. They're rude. And all they do is talk trash to each other, and I don't feel like hearing that all day. I want to hear my music. I want to hear my podcast. I want to let YouTube play and listen to whatever, whoever's talking about, you know, pro wrestling at the time. That's what I want to hear, you know. I don't want to hear another stupid, you know, Jackie John, Jehovah Fett, whatever his fucking name is, talking on the CB radio and talking trash to everybody else from his, you know, his big Pete that he can't get up the hill because he's loaded too heavy, and he's trying to skip all the scales and asking everybody what road needs to go down to skip the scale. Shut up. That's not a real example. I was just trying to make something up. Yeah. Anyway, you don't need a CB. You have a phone. Everywhere that says that they have a CB channel, yeah, they prefer you use a CB. The thing is, you can call. There's 9 times out of 10, there's going to be a phone number to call instead of the CB. And if there's not a phone number, you can walk to the guard shack or the paperwork shack or whatever they're going to call it, and you can check in with them there. You don't need a CB anymore. Back in the day, maybe you did. You don't. It's 2024. You do not need a CB. Don't waste your money on one unless you really, really want one, because you're probably not going to use it that much. So number 4 is probably one that has some truth to it, but it doesn't mean that it's completely true. I know that sounded stupid, didn't it? A lot of folks will say, especially old school truckers, will say that the new generation of drivers are really bad at their jobs, or that they don't care about the jobs, and that they're more dangerous. I don't necessarily say that that's completely wrong, because I think that our generation, and I think millennials especially, and some of Gen Z. Gen Z's getting into trucking now. You're 21 years old, Gen Z. I mean, you're getting into trucking. I know. So I don't think that it really means that we are bad at our jobs or that we don't like our jobs. The thing is, most truckers are going to be, these days, they're not going to be trained at a high level. These trucking schools get you in, they squeeze everything they can in there, and they get you the hell out, you know? By the time I went to trucking school, I'd already been driving for 10 years. I just didn't have a CDL. So I knew what I was doing, but it kind of got on my nerves how the CDL school just like pushes everybody through as fast as they can to get butts and seats to drive. That I don't agree with. I think there should be a lot more training, especially for backing, and more on the road training instead of just a test, you know? But that doesn't mean that it's the driver's fault. Typically, when you get out of CDL school, you're going to go to a trucking company and you're going to have a trainer. That trainer's job is to make that trucker a good trucker and not let them on the road by themselves until they're good. 9 times out of 10, that's not the case. They just shoot them through, give them a truck, and let them go. But again, that doesn't mean that they're necessarily, you know, new drivers. It doesn't mean that they're necessarily dangerous either. There's just more trucks on the road. You know, back in the 80s and, you know, I remember, well, maybe not the 80s because I was born in 86. I remember in the 90s, you didn't see that many trucks. Like, I would get excited when I saw a truck on the road. Now everywhere you go, every little road, there's tons and tons of semi trucks. There's just more trucks. There's more people in the world, in the country. There's more goods being shipped back and forth than ever. There's more trucks. That's why we are facing a driver shortage. I'll talk about that later. It's not a driver shortage. It's a pay shortage. You know, most of us don't make what we're worth. If you got a CDL, you're worth a lot more money than $50,000 a year. But that's a whole video in itself, I think. But yeah, there's just more. If you get more trucks on the road, more accidents are going to happen. And it's harder to navigate. And trucking is one of the most dangerous jobs in the country to have because of that. So it's not necessarily the drivers, you know, it's just the fact that it's less safe in general than it used to be. Even from when I started driving, it's gotten crazier and crazier over the last 6 years that I've had a CDL. So yeah. And the whole thing about they don't care about their job, I think there's some truth to that. I think a lot of us, this generation, have seen previous generations and how freaking hard they worked all the time. And some of those people still don't have anything. They worked and worked and worked, and they weren't necessarily bad at managing money. They just worked all the time, and they still don't have anything. And, you know, people working, driving trucks now, they're 60, 70 years old, not retiring anytime soon because they can't. They can't afford it because things are too expensive. And these companies aren't loyal to us as employees. Most companies aren't. So I saw a thing the other day. It was said the best pay raise that you can get is a new job. And that's why this generation of truckers job hop so much. You're working at a $50,000 a year company. Suddenly you see an advertisement for, you know, $90,000 a year doing the same thing that you've been doing the last 2 years. Of course I'm going to apply for that. Of course I'm going to go to that job because it pays more. That doesn't mean we're not obligated to care about our jobs and make it our life. I don't think you should make your job your life. You need to make your job about money. Your job, the only reason you're doing it is for money. I don't care what you say. 9 out of 10 truckers would not be doing this damn job if it didn't pay a lot of money. There's no way. Because it's stressful, it's long hours, it's kind of hard work most days. None of you're lying if you sit there and say, oh, I would do this if it paid me half of what I make. No, you wouldn't. You don't care about your job that much. You care about the money, and that's what you should care about. Now, that being said, any job I've ever had, I don't care how much it paid, I don't care how much I hated it, I tried to be super professional about it, and I looked like I cared, you know? Because that can go a long way and making your attitude a little bit better and people's attitude towards you. And also it'll look good on you in the future when you're looking for a better job. Just be professional. You don't have to make your job your life. I'm all about work-life balance. You don't need to have your entire life wasted working and working and working and working and working and working, and then you're 60 years old and you're all beaten, broken, and can't spend the money that you saved. Don't be a work fetishist. You know, care about your job, but you're there to make money, and that's what people need to look at it as. So it does help if you're at a really good company, though, with people that actually give a crap about the drivers. You know, that's a big plus if you have that job. The last one is one that always gets on my nerves. Is you're not a real trucker if blah blah blah. Always see this all the time, and it's elitism. I don't like elitism in anything. It's always annoying. Everybody is different, and people think that if you're not just like them, then you're not any good. So you see a lot of people, you know, truckers, and will say, oh, you're not a real trucker if you don't drive a manual. If you're an automatic, you're a steering wheel holder. Shut up. Shut up. Look, I drive a 13-speed now, and I don't mind it. If I was in the Northeast, there's no way I'd want to do it. I wanted an automatic when I was in the Northeast because holy shit, driving a stick in the Northeast is a pain in the ass. I don't like it. Out here in the West, it doesn't matter because the traffic's not as bad and I'm going longer distances. So I drive a 13-speed now, and I actually taught myself to drive a manual truck. I drove manual cars throughout my life, and I taught myself to drive a truck. But most of my trucks that I've had in various companies were automatics, and that's just because that's the truck that the companies have. You know, you're a trucker. You are a real trucker if you have a CDL, you've gotten your training done, you are getting in that truck every day and you're working 10, 12 hours, you're safely and delivering goods to customers. That means you're a trucker. I don't give a fuck what anybody else says. That means you're a trucker. It's stupid. It's a stupid comment to make, to say you're not a real trucker if you don't drive a manual. All the trucks are different. All trucks are different. Who cares how it's being driven? Just get it there safely and efficiently. You're doing your job. You're being your trucker. You also see a lot of one. I saw one that kind of drove. It was like, what? That's the dumbest thing I've ever heard. One said, you're not a real trucker if you don't load and unload your trailer. 90% of truckers don't load and unload their trailers. Who do you even think you are? Shut up. Like, why do people measure the value of a human being and how much work they do? What does that matter? Who cares? If I back into a dock and I sit there for 2 hours while somebody else unloads it, and then I go and leave and go pick up another load, yeah, I'm mostly driving and sitting there, but who gives a shit? Like, it's still important. It's still an important job. But I'm not taking the forklift driver's job. They also need to work. Good. That's their job. They do that thing. Then I leave and I drive. Now, I do get loaded, and sometimes I load my own stuff because I'm bulk tanker. So I load my own stuff. I unload it all. I've done food service. I've done flatbed. But all of those can be kind of tough, especially food service. Holy shit. But yeah, like, I've done all those things, but I've never looked down on anybody just because all they did was drive. Like, your goal in life should be work smart, not hard. You strive to get the easy trucking jobs, and those are harder to get. You got to have a little bit of experience to get jobs like that, where you don't have to bust your ass working all the time. That should be your goal. When you're first starting out, yeah, you're gonna work hard, but by the time you're like 30, 40 like me, you should be looking for the easy jobs so that you can relax and chill and enjoy your time off instead of being in pain all the freaking time. Another one I saw was, you're not a real trucker if you don't change your own tires. Bro, I've never, unless they're an owner-operator, I've never, ever seen anybody change their own tires. We all call freaking TA or Flying J or Loves or Penske, whoever. We're going to call somebody to change the tires because those are the people that know how to do it. They know what they're doing. You don't have to work on your own truck. You don't have to change your own tires. And no, God, no, you do not have to own your own truck to be a real trucker. If you don't have any shame in being a company driver. I make as much money after taxes. I make as much money as a lot of owner-operators are making right now because the rates suck. Owner-operators might be making $250,000 a year, but they're spending $150,000 in maintenance and fuel costs and insurance and all this other stuff that you have to get as an owner-operator. Hey, you're in charge of everything. The company pays for all of that if you're a company driver. And if you get into a job where they're paying you $90,000 to $100,000, you're making the same amount of money as a lot of owner-operators. It's a no-brainer. Why would I take on all the responsibility if I can just make the money and somebody else pay for all the stuff? Of course I'm going to do that. That's the smart way to do it. Work smart, not hard, right? The cat's trying to get a word in. So anyway, y'all look at this cool-ass gun I bought. So, little 22. It's only a 22. I can get a Magnum cylinder if I want. But this is from Heritage Firearms out of Georgia. Yeah, Bainbridge, Georgia. I always wanted a cowboy gun. And you can see it's so cool. It's just, it won't go into view. But whatever. You know, I'm not going to be twirling this or anything, but I wanted a little 22 to have fun at the range with. And I don't know, man. I like it. It's super cool. I haven't actually taken it there yet. I was going to go today once I found out I was off because the mill went down and it got delayed till tomorrow. So I said, okay, fine. But anyway, I'm a gun guy, you know, whatever. This is my carry gun. I've been cleaning them today. That's why they're all here. Little Ruger 9, my camping gun, big Springfield 10mm, light, all that stuff. Yeah, fun stuff. I don't have a rifle. I'll get one day. I lost my guns in a hurricane in North Carolina, and that was one of the reasons I moved. There's the cat. Say hi, kitty. Yeah. All right. So I think my stuff's almost done. My dishwasher is almost done. I'm gonna get ready to cook and eat. and chill out the rest of the night because I got an early day tomorrow. I got to drive to Idaho and back. Y'all have a good one.